What's up, my brothers and my sisters from another mister? Today we're going to do a full story review of Gunslinger Spawn, issues number 13 through 18. This is Gunslinger Spawn's Brutal Story Part 3. This is where we unveil Javier, Gunslinger Spawn's dark secret. Will it save him or will it consume him? Brought to you by RatedComics. Before we get into the content, link in description if you wish to purchase this comic book and or some of our other comic books or Rated Comics exclusives to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. Timestamps will be in description if you wish to go from issue to issue. Also, if you're liking the content, you know what to do. Like the video and subscribe to this channel. It'll help Rated Comics to make more content and more videos like this. And with all that being said, let's get into the content. Previously in Gunslinger Spawn, just a quick summary, after a particularly brutal battle with the villainous Winterstone, Gunslinger gets his information he was looking for. Now his quest continues. We begin this panel with Taylor buying some knickknacks from G-Mart or whatnot. Taylor is still walking with a limp, and he allows himself a small of satisfaction. That was because of the bag of cash that Gunslinger Spawn handed him in the previous issue. However, Javier is frustrated and he just stares at the pictures on the menu. He could really use Taylor's help right now. He's hungry. Like Tyrese says in Fast and Furious, we hungry.
Like I said, we hungry.
And he can't read and he wants to order something off the menu. So when Taylor finally gets there, Gunslinger asks him in Javier form, what's this? And Taylor's like, it's a Grand Slam breakfast. Grand Slam breakfast, what's that? You know, like baseball. What's baseball? Keep in mind, Gunslinger Spawn came from the 1800s immediately into current time. He's not gonna know what that is. And Taylor's like, not this again. I'm seriously wondering, with all this shit that keeps coming your way, how are you planning on doing anything if you can't read? Hey, my boy, I'll just figure it out. So Javier asks him how his back is feeling. He's like, man, like crap, but at least the cash you gave me helped. And that's a reference from the last issue, which you could check that out if you haven't checked that out as well. So Taylor asks him the obvious question, your reading problem, man, how are you gonna address all this? Well, Javier is like, all I need to know are directions. It's why we're in this town. Just point me where we got to go. And Taylor's like, what are you doing? Are you gonna go after one of those guys that Winterstone mentioned? When will you be back? And you see that dark, sinister face like, oh, I am, and I'll be back when I'm done. Later on, as the night falls down, we see this guy on a cell phone with a suit talking on the phone, talking about, hey, just be patient. We don't know who he's talking about or who he's talking to, but that's not the important part. We don't care about any of that. What we care about is what happens when the railroad or the train starts passing by and there's something wrong. The tires are flat, and guess what? That's Gunslinger Spawn doing his thing. So as his assistant, his bodyguard, we should call him that, reaches for the phone to call for assistance, for roadside assistance, Gunslinger's like, bro, you looking for this? This guy doesn't know who Gunslinger is at that moment, so he's like, I'll give you my wallet and the keys. Your car can't move. Why would I want your keys for? And you know who I am? So stop pretending. He tries drawing his gun so the driver must not know, or maybe knows, but we're gonna go with not know who Gunslinger is, and he shoots him in the chest. Who else knows I'm here, says Gunslinger. Go to hell, says the brother. And he was like, yo, man, I was hoping you'd say that. Decks him in the face, decks him again in the face, kicks him in the back, pushes his head through the glass, and the employer sticks his head out like, what's going on? And you, in that kind of face, come on now, like you gotta have a much more shocked face. You heard a gunshot earlier, and your bodyguard's head being smashed in the face. Stay where you are and don't move. You seem important. And he does seem important enough to get his ass whipped. But anyways, so after he tells her to stay in the car, Gunslinger's like, yo, man, stay right there. I know you're important because I'm going to take care of your boy here first. And this guy gets strapped on the road, on the railroad. And Gunslinger proceeds to ask him, how many of you came through the hole? I got no beef with you, Gunslinger. Problem is, says Gunslinger, I got beef with you and your people. So tell me, especially your old boss Sanchez. I can't kill me. He'll kill me. He won't kill you because I'm going to kill you first. Now, where is he? Heard he's around these parts. You deaf boy. And as the train approaches and he just keeps staying in silence, Gunslinger just, cool like a cucumber, just sits around, waits for his answer. So he tells him, last chance, boy, and the train just runs over him and splats him. Meanwhile, in the cabin in the woods, that's a good name for a movie. Actually, it is a movie, but we're gonna go back to the content. He asks when his dinner is gonna be ready, and his wife tells him chicken just needs about another 20 minutes. You said that about 20 minutes ago. Get your act together. I bust my ass all day out here out in these streets. You got me out in these streets doing my job. Why can't you do yours? Get that chicken ready. Oh, I'm doing my best, baby. Shut up and get me a beer. Your boy hungry.
Like I said, we hungry.
Anyways, so there's a loud thump on the top of the roof, and he wonders what the Christ is at. And she tells him, okay, I guess it came from the roof, and he gets his shotgun like, it better not be them damn owls again. And obviously, this is not the first occurrence, but we all know this ain't that kind of typical occurrence, they know. So she tells him to be careful. Seconds later, an explosion comes in the form of a human cannibal. Tonight's chicken's gonna be uneaten. Get on your feet, fat man. I'm through with you, not by a long shot. Yo, Gunslinger, I mean, you my boy and all, but that's kind of fucked up. Like, I love chicken. Let the boy finish his chicken first. Let him have his last meal before you give him his ass whipping. And then she cocks the shotgun back and points it at Gunslinger's head. I came for your husband, Nady, not you. Drop your gun and tell me why you're here, says the girl. Because your husband hurts people, lots of them. Don't spill your lies to me, Gunslinger. I know you're kind. My husband only hurts those that deserve it. Those that got the evil in their heart. Men that ain't God-fearing. Now drop your damn gun. And Gunslinger's like, okay, I wouldn't do what you're thinking of because your barrel's crooked. It won't shoot straight. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, it throws her off for a quick second. And that quick second is all Gunslinger needs to make sure that barrel is crooked for real. Now, you know what these are, says Gunslinger as he puts these necklaces out. These are necklaces from the corpse of just a small number of those that your husband has murdered. And he's going to pay for those sins tonight. Question is, you want to join him? And she's like, nah, we cool, do your thing. And he's like, okay, I didn't think so. So Gunslinger doesn't say another word for the rest of the night. Now, you may be wondering, how did this brother find out who this guy is? Keep in mind, the guy in the back of the Suburban didn't feel like getting shredded by the train, so that bald brother, the employer, spilled the beans to Gunslinger. And Gunslinger knows exactly what he's gonna do to torture him. And also, Javier also thinks what they did to him when he was just becoming a man, so he ties him up, straps him to the horse. You're crazy, let me go. But before they depart, Gunslinger wants to leave Sanchez with a reminder of who he is. And once Gunslinger spawned Dizza, he slaps the horse's ass, and there they go. Javier will find the horse about 5 hours from now. That's when Sanchez's real punishment will begin. And then we go into a flashback of what happened back in the 1800s. The year was 1860. And Javier has been waiting far too long to exact that punishment. Officially, the Civil War had not begun, but tensions had already started to divide friends and families across the Mideast. That animosity slowly poured itself west with devastating results. And we see young Javier, before Gunslinger spawn form, getting dragged through that same punishment he's exacted on Sanchez. He doesn't remember being dragged across the rocks, dirt, and water because, mercifully, he passed out hours ago. It's only because of a fatigued horse that got thirsty stopped this ordeal. But two things forever changed that day for Javier. The first was letting the evil poison of hate enter his heart. It's been there ever since. He gets a piece of shard or piece of rock, a sharp rock, and cuts himself loose. And as he escapes and cuts himself loose from his feet, we see the devastating result on his face. The second was finally understanding that he was somehow different. And as he walks and looks for some water just to try to survive, that enlightenment would change his destiny permanently, which is why he needed to survive. And he needs to survive. He's trying his best to stay up on his feet. He's walking, stumbling. It was also something he remembered that he realized animals were somehow drawn to him. He collapsed to the ground, and that horse goes up to him, all because he tried doing the decent thing. Now, a half a day earlier, what happened as we end this flashback, under the flashback, so a half a day earlier, the gang had been drinking far too long, and their manners were shifting into something more, drunk saloon style, So these men, they're drunk and they're thirsty, they hungry, they start acting rowdy, and so they get this woman, and they obviously have some plans that they want to do to her. And this guy's like, yo man, that's my wife, and this is my gun, now what? I'm getting Sheriff Jones, says the guy. And I don't know, this man protecting his wife, but when you see a gun in your face, you got to do the wise thing and back down and live another day, right? Didn't you hear? Sheriff's out of town, says the guy smoking a cigar. She slaps him. Unhand me. Whoa, Nelly. I think she left a mark. And this guy's like, I can call a doctor if you need, boss. Nah, he's mad. You can't get slapped like that and let your boys just talk about it like that. So he slaps her back. You need to control your wife, and he decks the husband in his chin. They leave her husband bleeding in the dirt as they walk away, taking the girl. Now, the lady asked to be let go, and that's a voice coming out off screen. and we see this brother go down after a knife to his forehead. So they turn around curiously, wondering who the heck is this guy, and it's Javier. Where I came from, you never make a lady ask twice, not if you don't want to get yourself hurt. And that's where we end this issue of Gunslinger Spawn issue number 13, a little flashback of Javier. Now I know they touched on this in Spawn's universe. I did do a review on that. I'll put the card up top and link in description as well. Now I absolutely love this issue. Now we went from learning who Gunslinger is to what the mission is. We know that he's on the hunt for those that did his sister Amy wrong, and now that he's on a hunt mixed with some brutal savagery, you cannot go wrong with this, man. I still am up in the air with what my favorite Spawn issue is, King Spawn or Gunslinger Spawn. To me, those are splitting hairs, but this issue, with how good this issue is, in my personal opinion, oh man, it has a little bit of an edge right now, but I'm not going to be quick to jump to conclusions at this point. But link in description if you wish to add this comic book to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. Gunslinger Spawn continues to work his way down the list of names that did him wrong. And there's 11 names total, and he's knocking them out. He now approaches one of the men that set him on the path to transforming him into Gunslinger Spawn. And we begin this issue with Javier before he was known as Javier. He was 20 years old, and it's a continuation from the previous issue where he upholds this lady's honor from these three men who are about to, do some things to her that we just, let's just say, they didn't have the best intentions. And he throws his knife at this guy, and he turned out he's wearing a steel padding underneath, and he's looking at Javier like, how do I pay you back, boy? You don't. And Javier had a different name back there, but he never could stand bullies. So he decks this guy in the face, and blood comes out, and he tells this man to get this woman away from here. I'm gonna deal with them. Though he doesn't quite have a plan on how to do that. And at some point though, he fights like hell, but he's just simply outnumbered, and this beating becomes brutal because it's 3 against 1. And the boss tells the guys, put him on the horse and let's go. Who do you think he is, boss? I don't know, I don't care, just some nobody. And they mean to get far away from prying eyes as they go deep into the desert. Eat up, boy, you need your strength. So they feed Gunslinger, or they feed Javier before he turns into Gunslinger. And a few days later, he's feeling better, so the boss tells him, nice to see you on your feet, boy, but that won't last, get me a horse. Puts him on the horse, straps him on, shoots the gun in the air. Cruelty is something that the boss has always enjoyed. And one of his henchmen is like, you wants to follow him? Don't even bother, kid. I've trained that horse to come back when it gets good and hungry. Shouldn't be more than a couple days. By then, all she'll be pulling is a pair of feet with no body left, and he awaits patiently to see what happens. So 10 hours later of this dragging, and Javier is brutally and mortally wounded. He asks the horse for help. Try as he might, the pain coursing through his body makes him pass out again. Hours, days, he doesn't know how long it's been as odd noises awake him. The horse is panicking but yet doesn't run away. The wolves ignore the horse, their focus is on Javier before he turns into Javier based on the narration. Yet the closer they get to him, the more calm they seem to become. For the longest time they all just want to sit and wait, and when he tries to get away, the animals follow him like pets with their master. They're looking at this bird like, I don't care if you wounded like that, and look at that art right there. I don't care if you look like that, you are still alpha to us. Javier can't grasp what's going on or happening or why. As his mind races, the random convulsions his body has felt for years, and he's been dealing with this for years, and these convulsions explode with 100 times the intensity, making it feel like his body's being ripped apart. That's because it literally is. Black, inky tendrils mesh with the ravaged flesh. The symbiote forms. He sensed something was happening to his body. Even as a child, that dark thought has haunted him for years. Yet on this day, that darkness did defeat him. Instead, it became his armor, his deliverance to a new destiny. I love this crow doing the final touch, dropping that gunslinger hat on Gunslinger Spawn like a cherry on a Spawn Sunday. I don't know if I'm hungry or more anxious for more Spawn comics, but anyway, and that deliverance has never left him. 160 years later, somewhere in eastern Montana, in the church, this lady is talking to Pastor Collins. She tells him that she should have been a better wife and she should have tried harder, but I couldn't change him, and she's going through some grieving moments of her abusive husband. And Pastor tells you, you did your best, but Jimmy had a temper Satan would be jealous of. He was always that way. No matter how many times you tried to reach out, or we tried to reach out, your suffering is partly my fault, and I wish to God he never put his hands on you. But you need to be a mother of your children, an example. Show them your strength. I will help them any way I can. Thank you, Pastor Collins, as she leaves. But for the rest of his day, the pastor prepares for his next sermon. And as he's reading through the scripture, he opens a drawer and we see a gun with cash in that drawer. That's not something you typically see with pastors. In this panel, Gunslinger Spawn tells his horse, "Easy girl, let me lighten your load." And this is starting back from the previous issue of Gunslinger Spawn, which we did do the review on. If you haven't watched it, check it out. Gunslinger Spawn issue number 13. I'll put the card up top and link in description. Gunslinger Spawn has caught up to the animal he sent running with the cargo. Though he's more concerned about the cargo than it was the dragon. "Wake up, Sanchez. I know you ain't dead. You're too stubborn for that. Now wake up." He rolls that man over. "You don't look so good." In other words, payback's a bitch, right? But Sanchez doesn't wake up yet. Not at least. And Gunslinger will need to be patient just a bit longer. Much later, the moment Sanchez moves, Javier is ready. "Rise and shine, fat man. Put that one on your face. Wake up, boy. We got some more torture in the beginning. You and I are gonna have ourselves a nice little chat." It takes a few minutes for Sanchez to orient himself, but when he does, it's like a freaking typhoon has hit the abandoned shed. Don't ask why I did the Chewbacca noise. I don't know. It's just a Star Wars moment, okay? But this brother wakes up with a vengeance, catching our Gunslinger Spawn off guard, but only for a second or two. Gunslinger Spawn lets out a couple caps. While his enemy resorts to any means necessary, the horse is an option, and he clubs Gunslinger Spawn again and again and again with that horse. "Get up, cowboy." And Gunslinger Spawn is pissed as he gets up. "He broke her neck. You broke her neck," and decks him in the face. Gunslinger's connection, perhaps his only real kinship to the animals, throws him into a blind rage. Sanchez will never touch another animal again. "I wasn't here for you, boy. I wanted your boss, not you. They don't care if you die." And he rips his arms out from where they stand. "I'm getting tired of climbing up this ladder. It takes longer than he wanted, but eventually he gets his answer. He beats it out of Sanchez. He gets another name on the list, and that ass is his because he's hungry." Gunslinger doesn't kill Sanchez. There's no need, because a signal has been sent to wolves, and the wolves will soon shred and then devour the rest of his body, and he leaves him right there. Back in eastern Montana, this girl gets scared from who was talking to Pastor Collins earlier. She flees the office, tears streaming down her face, while the pastor sits casually and relaxed. Then the clack of boots echoes in his chambers. At first, no one is there. Then, from the shadows, a presence pours forth. One which Pastor Collins has crossed paths with before, but that was over a century and a half ago. "She found out, then," she says, "Gunslinger, how you corrupt everything. Was it her, or did she find out what you do to children?" "So," says the pastor, "the rumors have been true. You're back. That's a pity." He takes out his gun and unloads on Gunslinger Spawn. And he ducks and dodges and gets the hell out the bullet's way. "I know what you did to my sister," says Gunslinger. "I don't think you actually do." "Wrong." Not even a chance for doubt, because there is no doubt. Why was there no doubt? Because Pastor Collins was one of the names on his hit list. Sanchez gave him there are 11 names on it. Gunslinger wants to make sure the other 10 understand his message. He sets about laying out his plan, shoving one of his necro bullets in the wounded for good measure, wanting to make sure there'll be no doubt in any of their minds who is now hunting them down as he leaves Pastor Collins like this. And that's where we end this issue of Gunslinger Spawn, issue number 14. Just buy the damn book. Look, just buy it. I mean, link in the description if you wish to buy it from RatedComics or Amazon. Just buy the book. This is a gangster read. I mean, I ain't got nothing else to say. I have not read a terrible or a bad issue of Gunslinger Spawn. I don't got nothing else to say about it. I love this revenge tale, one by one, knocking them out, and this is definitely brutal. Now, Gunslinger continues to pick names off his hit list, one by one, slowly making his way towards eliminating all that have done him wrong. Now, in this panel, every day in the news, we hear or read of some horrible act of violence as these robbers break into this house with the couple sleeping and shoot them point blank. And tonight is no different. It's a jewelry robbery. They rob the jewelry. Once the men are sure they've not been followed, they allow themselves a bit of celebration. They go to the bar, and like all true psychopaths, they could care less about the harm they've done. And they have a chat about what's the best fantasy, whether it be Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings trilogy, or Avatar, all over beer. Okay, boys being boys, I guess. And the two men continue their wide-ranging debates, including everything from music to sports to video games and women. Jokes aside, until it's time to call it a night. It's been a long day, and the robber needs to cleanse himself before grabbing any sleep before they divvy up the robbery. You know, the jewels. And this robber's kind of proud of what he accomplished, though he doesn't give much thought of that besides being a thief. he's also a cold-blooded killer, as this hand protrudes from his mirror and smashes his head into the mirror. And I don't know who this guy is, but he comes out the mirror, goes to his nightstand, and finds the bullet that was shoved in the forehead of the dead pastor, and that was in the last issue. And keep in mind, at the end of this video, you can go onto the Gunslinger Spawn playlist, and you can watch that Gunslinger Spawn issue number 14 or any of the other issues of Gunslinger Spawn, because here on Rated Comics, we cover all Gunslinger Spawn, Scorch, King Spawn, as well as Spawn as well. Or we're working on getting all of Spawn. But anyways, once this mysterious figure finds that bullet, he explodes from the thief's house, and he exits in style like the Flash. Now in this panel right here, we see Taylor playing video games, and Javier knocks on his door, and he tells Taylor to open up, and this chain that's in between the door is not going to keep me out, so let me in. So inside, Javier quickly morphs into the gunslinger persona, and Taylor's like, why do you need to do that? The curtains are closed, it's not like you have to hide anything. And Javier's like, well, the more I use Javier's body, the faster it rots. And I believe that was covered in Spawn issue 308 or 309, but it was definitely covered in one of those issues. So Taylor is like, whoa, so what are you saying? You're not Javier? What the hell is this? This is news to me. All this is hitting Taylor fast, being a mere mortal or a mere human. And then he puts his head down. He's like, forget it, it doesn't matter. I should be used to everything by now, but I'm just having a tough time with all this. And on top of that, keep in mind at Gunslinger Spawn issue 1 and 2, Taylor figures out that his dad was working with angels, and he can't get a grasp of all that, and he still doesn't have all the answers he needs. So Gunslinger Spawn's like, look man, I get it. I went through a bunch of stuff when I was about your age. I lost most everything too, including my family. So I was wondering if you'll be willing to come on the road with me. And Taylor's like, why me? And Gunslinger Spawn's like, because you're smarter than me, way smarter than me. And besides, I can't do what I need to do without you. Your world's too strange for me. And given that Gunslinger Spawn came through the time rip, so Taylor agrees to go with him. Now for Gunslinger, Taylor's greatest skill is that he can simply read. Taylor doesn't know how valuable that skill is, along with being able to write. That will save their lives in the coming months. Now at their destination at this auto repair shop, Gunslinger hopes he'll run into a piece of his past. So they go inside. Inside, the security seems to be nearly non-existent. And Gunslinger Spawn tells him, I'm looking for Javier. Some of his Cherokee people said I should start here. And this guy's like, well, he said you'll be coming just down the whole first door on the left. And Taylor is curious as to why this man isn't alarmed with Gunslinger Spawn's presence. So they go into the room where the Javier is at, and he tells him, you shouldn't be here, not in this sacred space. You're trespassing on the spirits. And he's referring to Taylor, not Gunslinger Spawn. So Gunslinger Spawn vouches for him. You know, Taylor's like, yo, what's up, dude? I'm here. So forgive him, Javier. He's a bit young. And so Javier's like, well, my friend, it's been a long time. How the hell have you been, my crusty old dog? And, you know, they have a little bit of bromance, as Taylor calls it. And Javier tells him, Gunslinger, I've been waiting nearly 150 years for your ass to come here, and I knew you'll come back to me somehow. So Gunslinger's like, you fell through the time rip too, and he's referring to Spawn issue 300 and 301, which we did cover that on this channel. And he tells him, no, I've been here the whole time since the world changed myself. Watched them slaughter the buffalo, and then my people, and then machines were invented for World War fights, and our enemies, they've been here too, every day, spreading their evil in many corners as possible. So we're going to need all the help we can get. There's another Spawn now, says the Javier. Actually, no, this kid is not the Spawn. He's just some boy. He's my help. So the shaman gently lays his hand on the boy, wanting to read his spirit. And he's like, good, this one's a diamond in the rough. And he's referring to Taylor. You're a protector, Taylor. Promise that you'll watch over our cowboy, as he tends to use too much of his necro energy making his special bullets. His enemies know that it weakens him. And Gunslinger's like, man, you're giving away too much of my secrets, and you're spooking the kid. Taylor's like, no, I'm not spooked. But the real reason I'm here, says Gunslinger, I'm here to look for a list of names. Those names that involve Amy. And yes, I want to know how many of them made it alive to this time. Or even better, can your magic send them back? And the Javier's like, Simmons made the tear. He's the only one that can sew it back together. In the meantime, I need to speak with Taylor privately. He'll show you where some of your allegiance is hiding. So they go to where some of those allegiances is hiding. And in the hideout, before they go in, Taylor asks Javi something. I'm trying to understand what's the end game here, because you seem to be a target for a bunch of non-human types like to kill guys like me. Also, why did the shaman say he warned you a long time ago for you to quit all this? He had a premonition, says Gunslinger. About what? About my sister. And Taylor's like, well, was he right? And based on Gunslinger Spawn's sudden silence, His premonition was very freaking accurate. So more silence, and Gunslinger Spawn strides defiantly towards an unseen enemy. With purpose and resolve, Gunslinger can't wait to meet the resistance. His body is aching to deliver his own cruel necessity. And speaking of necessity, I need you to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and follow Rated Comics if you like this video and the content we're throwing up so far. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. That was kind of cringe, but I had to do it. You know what I mean. So back into the content though, stopping only once the screaming falls silent, Gunslinger Spawn goes to work with these people. Not far away, the echoes of battle have been heard by others, and his bodyguard's like, "Sir, your orders?" "Well, the noise seems to have died down, Henry. Go check on the boys, would you?" And Henry does go check on the boys, and Henry will have to wait long to get that report because Gunslinger Spawn is waiting for him like, "You know what's the pity about all this, boy? There were so many of you guys, didn't have time to drag them all here. This is only half of them." He goes to work, shoot some more. "So if you know what's good for you, you'll get me your boss, boy." That's what Gunslinger Spawn says, and Henry does exactly that. My, look at what the cat dragged in. Now Gunslinger Spawn, his guns are drawn back and he encroaches upon their boss. And the boss notices that his bodyguards are not putting their weapons away, they have their weapons out, so he tells them, "Put your weapons away, boys, and relax. Your guns won't scratch him. Ain't that right, Hailspawn?" He tries to appeal to his symbiote sanity, I guess you can say. "And so, what should I do about you? Since you took out most of my army, I was growing a bit fond of them." And his cane with the snake starts coming to life. "What's more curious is we've done this rodeo before, and I've kicked your ass every time, boy." I'm having a little fun with this, I know. "You can't win this one, you know that." And Gunslinger Spawn's like, "Maybe." He takes out his shotgun. "But I made a good friend today. He taught me some tricks too." And his rifle morphs. "So you want to fuck with me? I got nothing but time, boy." "Okay, well go ahead." But actually, Gunslinger Spawn doesn't have time. In a blur, something enters the room so fast, it creates a vacuum sucking all the air away. Everyone passes out. Everyone except those made in hell. Gunslinger Spawn ain't passed away. And this brother, I don't know who he is, but he actually looks pretty cool. He tells Gunslinger Spawn the boss man is mine, and I've waited too long for someone like you to get in my way. And that's where we end this review of Gunslinger Spawn, issue number 15. What you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. So previously on Gunslinger Spawn, a new face gets in the way of Gunslinger Spawn's plan. To finish crossing off his hit list, Gunslinger will have to decide whether this speedster is friend or foe. So his entrance had temporarily caused most of the men in the room to pass out from a lack of oxygen, though this costumed stranger couldn't care less. To emphasize this point, the stranger circles around the office like a wisp of smoke. Hey, his name is Focus. This speedster tells Gunslinger Spawn, "Stay away from McCarver, he's mine," and Gunslinger Spawn's like, "Then we got ourselves a problem, boy, because I ain't leaving here without McCarver." Focus, at least now, Gunslinger Spawn has a name for who he's up against. "Don't know what McCarver did to you, or why you're here, but you take one more step, you'll be standing in this room by yourself." "What the hell, boy, you ain't making sense," says Gunslinger Spawn. And there's a slight sound of a gun being cocked. Focus, knowing this, slowing down time, tells Gunslinger Spawn, "Wait right here, I'll be right back." In a blink, the gunman is dropped, knocks out, and with Focus returning back in front of Gunslinger Spawn before the guard touches the floor. And he's like, "What the hell just happened? He was gonna shoot you. He was gonna shoot us, so I had to take him out." Gunslinger is a bit stunned and he wonders why he's never encountered a demon like this before. And McCarver is like, "You're not getting out of here tonight. Neither of you. I sent the message the moment Gunslinger Spawn entered the building. They're coming." "Good, because some of them know where your other partners are, so I'm glad they're paying me a visit," says Gunslinger. "It'll save me time from hunting them down." And this guy, Focus, is like, "Well, who's coming?" "His posse," says Gunslinger. So he's like, "Okay, good. Well, I'm out of here, and you're coming with me, McCarver." So Focus is like, "Good, then I'm out of here, and you're coming with me, McCarver." "Is that right?" "Yes, asshole, that is right." And with that, Focus fills the room in a heartbeat with a film of black residue blinding everyone as a small tornado buffets them. And Focus, along with McCarver, is gone seconds later. And as the two of them shoot across dozen counties covering over 400 miles, their journey ended atop a desolate hill. So McCarver asks him, "How'd you do that?" And Focus like, "Don't play dumb with me. You know exactly how I did that. Remember all the experiments you did? All the people who died during those experiments? Well, I didn't, and I know there's others like me. They are, but I made them attuned to Gunslinger spawn, says McCarver. Not yours. That's part of the posse he was talking about. Then I'll have to grab that signal. And in a flash, Focus is back to where he met Gunslinger, not knowing everything McCarver just told him was a lie. Hearing the air hiss again, Gunslinger's instincts takes over and shoots into air. And Focus is a lot faster than that. Hey, taps him on the back, and Gunslinger's like, what the hell is going on? I need you, says Focus. And Gunslinger's like, man, that's your problem. Where's McCarver? Far away, just like you're going to be. And Focus tells one of the henchmen, tell your gang their boss is in Guyver's Summit, and tell them the cowboy is coming too. So boom, he grabs Gunslinger's spawn and they go. And like a hurricane, Gunslinger is swallowed into a cone of black flames. Their piercing vibrations are about to shatter his eardrums. As a hellspawn, he's endured every physical type of pain from heaven and hell, but he's never felt anything like this before, like he's being torn apart. Even worse, the pain has only been pounding his body for a few seconds, and then it stops. But Gunslinger notices that for the first time, this guy is tired and he's gasping for air. And Focus is like, whoa man, most people aren't standing after I do that to them. So who are you and why are you here? Did MacGyver's lab do that to you? Nah boy, I got no idea what you're talking about, but that don't matter. What does is he had his hand in my sister's death, and I was looking for a little retribution before you busted in, and I ain't never seen one of you demons like that before. And Focus like, keep using that word, man. I'm human like you. I ain't a demon. And Gunslinger spawn is pissed. You're human? That's why you're so tired? Then you need to leave now, boy. You made a huge mistake. McCarver didn't send his army so they could fight a human. He's called his angelic assassins. You get tired with them, they'll gut you the moment you take a breath, boy. And McCarver is like, he's already exhausted, Gunslinger. I know how his body's worth. You're both fucked. And without speaking a single word, Gunslinger spawn walks up to him and just decks him like, hey man, you better chill. And you ain't got no chill, neither do I. And Gunslinger says everything he needs with his action, decks him, boots him, slits him. And Focus like, what the hell are you doing, man? That's enough. I still need answers from him. And until I get them, you have to go through me if you want McCarver. What are you gonna do, says Gunslinger? Fight me and his army? Tell me you're not that crazy. You can't sustain that level. I see what happens to you. He killed my friend, says Focus. He's not walking away. You're human. You're the only one they're not gonna let walk away. You should have ran when you had your chance. Now shadows fall across the cracked terrain and the sun is blotted out because these angels are here. And Gunslinger spawn tells him, ready yourself. I can't take on that many. Well, Gunslinger spawn's like, we ain't got no choice. McCarver's their beacon, so wherever you take him, they will follow. So Gunslinger spawn goes in and he's like, boy, you either fight him now or you fight him later, but either way we got to do some fighting, boy, and we hungry. So weapons fly before he finishes his dive and roll. When he throws his knife at their forehead, that's the kill shot. He realized they cover their weak point. His kill shots to their foreheads won't be an option, so he'll need to improvise. And he knows his bullets won't kill him, but they can blind him. And in any battle, when you can get your enemy to shift their strategy, that's always an advantage. A black flame slams the angels like a cruise missile. Though tired, Focus is willing to use every last ounce of his energy he still has. He'll worry about recovering later, while Gunslinger spawn blasts away. He tells Focus to grab these knives. Gunslinger spawn then whispers his battle plans to the speedster and then barks one last order: go threaten McCarver. These words barely escape his mouth as the ground begins to tremble like a stampede of elephants charging. It isn't a herd though, it's a single being. This fight's over, Hellspawn, whoever this guy is, but he looks cool and physically imposing. And Gunslinger's response is to charge into any battle to his enemy full force, and I think that's his way of testing out who they are, but he definitely realized that this brother is no joke and he ain't got no chill, so he gets decked and cracked and you know, he's weakened a little bit. And the other angels surround him. Outnumbered, Gunslinger spawn knows he can't win this fight, and the angels know that too, so they strike in the group, but they're quickly scattered like 10 pins at a bowling alley. Focus collides into the group with explosive force, though when he's finished, he's barely able to stand. You okay, boy, says Gunslinger. Don't worry about me. They're getting up. Then you might want to get yourself clear, because if I'm going down, I'm going to take these bastards with me. And that is the end of this issue. And as promised from the title, this issue does end with an explosive bang. And that is the end of this issue of Gunslinger Spawn, issue number 16. Now, Gunslinger Spawn had to let off a dynamite in an act of desperation, fighting off these angels while saving himself and Focus. Now, we go into this monologue how it's been a short while since Gunslinger was pulled forward through time, landing in our present world, along with hundreds of other unwilling participants from the past. Upon his arrival, he quickly needed a new host body, which he found. He goes by the name Javier when he needs to appear human. And for most of his time here, he's been angry because he got ripped through time, through a time rip, and he's been close to hunting down the enclave of his enemies that destroyed his life. Now, he gained solace and he was happy to learn that most of his enemies are alive in today's planet. But the thought that angers him the most is how are heaven and hell tracking him down so easily? It's been a constant barrage of attacks from enemies he barely recognizes. What happened to him that makes his whereabouts so transparent? Though for this particular battle, the angels have been tipped off by the new hero called Focus, forcing Gunslinger Spawn into desperate measures by igniting that dynamite to buy himself that time. All suffered the consequence of that explosion except for one. This behemoth, giant, freaking angel told him, God told us you were crazy, and he goes in and lunges in for the attack, and you can tell that kind of punch right there has to crack a rib at least. So as Gunslinger Spawn gets up like, boy, you know I want some of the smoke, but at the same time Javier knows he can't hold anything back, right? So he goes in with everything that he's got, but that punch that he lands on that giant angel doesn't do anything. I think I'm gonna call him the Juggernaut Angel. So the ringing he has in his head and ears since the explosion amplifies as he struggles not to pass out. Now, in this form of a hallucination, quit acting like a baby. It's not that bad. He sees his sister, Amy. I'm always here, silly. Just want to check on my little brother. Make sure you're okay. Can I do that? You're dead. You're supposed to be dead, sis. And Amy's like, you keep saying that. You just need to relax. Mama always said he was tighter than the drum. I'm sorry, sis. I never meant for things to get so bad in between us. As he reaches out to touch her hand, she disappears and she's gone. The tortured hallucination is gone. Where's McCarver, says Juggernaut Angel. I blew him up, says Gunslinger Spawn. It's a lie. Gunslinger knows he told Focus to speed McCarver away from the scene. He's just trying to ignite the giant angel's nerves, hoping that the giant will do something stupid. Unfortunately, others survived, and these other angels came in, and their numbers quickly overpowered Gunslinger Spawn, and you know it ain't good. And that's what happened in the aftermath. Now, before I go any further into the content, if you're liking the content so far, like the video, subscribe to this channel. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. Now, let's get back into the content. So now there's Juggernaut Angels like, step aside, there's only one way you kill a Hellspawn, and that's to pulverize its skull, then scatter the fragments to different realms. 30 tons of force shakes the ground as he takes this piece of land and attempts to smash his head in, and he does. But when they go to gloat over their kill, these angels like, where is he? The demons escape, and they have a conversation amongst others like, where the hell did this guy go? But before they can finish the sentence and their hypothesis conclusion on where Gunslinger could have gone, Focus comes in and cuts off their wings. And by doing that, insanity will soon infect every angel's mind. So what Gunslinger Spawn did is he whispered to his ear on how to hurt the angels and gave him his knife. Cut their wings was all that he said, and that was in the last issue. That's the only words he needed to speak. But this speedster, Focus, did more than also cut their wings. He also took McCarver miles away, then saved Gunslinger Spawn from being brutally crushed. Those efforts, unfortunately, have taken a toll on him. And Gunslinger's like, man, you're human. This is a wrong place for you, and you don't look so good right now. And Focus tells him, worry about yourself. I'll take care of my own business. And Gunslinger Spawn's like, nah, bruh, not against them. There are hundreds of them. This is just the first wave. You need to get your ass out of here, boy. He wants to, but he can't. Not right now, because the experiment that created Focus only gave him limited energy. He has to regenerate after excessive use, and he needs a few minutes to do that. A few minutes they don't have, which makes him an easy target as this Juggernaut Angel throws his arrow at him, Focus, but Gunslinger has to go and deflect it. He's not going to let it go down that easily. Then against his better judgment, Javier only has one move, and that is to save the human Focus, but he needs to take the brunt of the beating upon himself while he does that. So he pushes Focus out the way. Get out of here, boy. I said run. But Focus is ambushed, and Gunslinger tells him get out because they're gonna tear you apart. So Gunslinger Spawn takes out his gun, shoots, wildly like a rabid, savage cowboy that he is, because everything has gotten out of control. So as he fights his Juggernaut Angel and gets decks and gets worked and he receives that smoke, Gunslinger has the energy to leave, though barely, but not enough to carry another person. But how does he leave someone willing to lay down their life to protect him? And Gunslinger Spawn tells you, you want to be a hero? Then be smart and live, boy. Tell others and run. Against every instinct, Focus frustratingly knows he's right. But for Javier, it's one less distracting to deal with as Focus leaves. Now, one thing about Gunslinger Spawn is he thrives on being a loner. It's when his adrenaline kicks in. Mix that with the anger he's been suppressing, he takes out his knives, and you got yourself one nuclear Gunslinger Spawn Hellspawn cocktail. I could go for a cocktail right now, but it's early morning here. And he unleashes all these attacks on his opponents. The odds don't seem nearly as overwhelming as he just goes savage beast mode on them. And he takes out their leader. And one way to take out their leader, and you notice how they wear these metal helmets over their head so Gunslinger Spawn cannot easily impale their head with his blades? He tries crushing his windpipe, holding on to that brother like a rodeo rider strapped to a wild bull, baby. The giant finally falls, but the hordes of angels keep coming. Despite severed wings, the angel warriors maintain a fierce level of desire to complete their mission on Gunslinger Spawn. They won't stop until they die or Gunslinger Spawn himself is dead. Those are the only options. Low on power, Javier isn't confident enough he can win. And if he can't kill them, he needs to escape. So in desperation, he grabs a couple bloody wings, uses a necroplasm, and attaches it onto himself. And he gets ready to prepare to take off for flight. And God will deliver his wrath in a way we've never seen before. So he only has one option: retreat and get away. As these angels get out, they're like, look, he's doing it. It's what the scrolls foretold, that one day the great beast will don the appearance of our Lord and Savior, intent on leading all of God's worshippers down the pathway to hell. Then we all attack at once, says the Juggernaut Angel. Weakened from his fight and his new transformation, Javier has no choice but to take flight. Elsewhere, Taylor's dropping a deuce while playing the game. The phone rings. He ignores it at first, but then he realizes it's the piece of tech Gunslinger Spawn seemed very interested in. He makes the move to get it, and it's She Spawn. Javi, that's you? No, it's me, Taylor, but I can take a message right now. And she's like, where the hell is Gunslinger Spawn? Don't worry, he's out kicking some ass. And that is the end of this issue of Gunslinger Spawn, issue number 17. What you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. So previously on Gunslinger Spawn, Gunslinger barely escapes a savage attack by a group of angels by stealing some of their power. And in some seedy motel room, Taylor is playing video games with dinosaurs and just, going to work on this, like a Call of Duty dinosaur version, or Fortnite. Fortnite's a lot bigger game. We're going to call it Fortnite because he's into it. He gets tapped behind the shoulder and it's Gunslinger Spawn looking all heavenly Hellspawn-like and with the angel wings, and he's just not feeling good. And that's what he tells him, so he falls face first to the ground. All Taylor can do is just yell, Javi, wake up. Tell me what's wrong. Where'd you get these wings from? I said, wake up. And he just collapses right there and closes his eyes. Panicked, Taylor jets out the room, heading to the only place that makes sense to him. But it'll take him more than 45 minutes to get there. Wahia! He goes to the shaman, which is, he's meditating, doing his thing. And all he could do is just tell him that, hey, Javi's sick and you need to help. And Wahia is like, boy, you're trespassing. This is a second place. I don't give a shit. Our boy needs our help. And listen to me, old man. I've been through this enough times with him. I don't care if you think his strength won't fail him. And this boy's been tested before. Gunslinger Spawn been tested before. He's got some damn wings on. It makes no damn sense. You got to help him. So the shaman, after listening, instantly changes his attitude for some reason and then barks an order. You need to take me to him now. And he does that. Once back at the motel, Taylor makes a special call to She Spawn. So wherever at the headquarters, I believe it's the Scorch headquarters, She Spawn tells Spawn, after hearing the phone call from Taylor, stop with the excuses, Spawn. I'm not buying him. What did you say to Javier? I didn't talk to him. Because whatever it is, he quit the team. I just gotta call something's wrong with him, and besides, he's been acting reckless. And Spawn's like, man, that's not my problem, bruh. Well, he should be. We both need soldiers like him on our army, and you know it. He barely escaped Clown's attack last time, and all Spawn can think about is Clown. He's back, and Spawn tells him that's all you care about is your enemies. You're pathetic. Gunslinger needs our help, and he's an ally. Why don't you think about him first? Did you forget about some code of honor that you used to have, Simmons? You were a soldier. And Simmons is like, man, that's a luxury left long ago. Just tell me where he is. And Spawn's like, only if you leave now. Now on this panel right here, for 20 minutes, the medicine man has been droning on with his spiritual chants, and Taylor could just sit back in anxiety. He's anxious. Should I take him to the hospital? What the hell's wrong with him? Gunslinger's not looking so good. And Javier ignores Taylor as he continues chanting, and then Gunslinger Spawn goes up for air. Gasp for air. And while he is like, man, look, Taylor, your friend is quite sick. His wings are from God, are poisoning the costume given to him by Satan. And he's been using far too much power protecting others instead of himself. Meaning what? And Gunslinger Spawn gets up in pride. Meaning he worries too much. I'm fine. And while he is like, sadly, no, you're not. Your body's trying to bond with that heaven suit too quickly, and your spirit is meant to soar, but not this way. You're still a wolf cub. You're not ready to be an eagle yet. And Gunslinger Spawn is like, you've told me that most of my life. Well, I'm done being a cub. Time to be an eagle. And while he is like, you're adrift now in a world you do not fully understand. Now isn't the time to abandon your teachings. Remember what I taught you. And the Gunslinger is like, man, my tribal training has nothing to do with you. And while he is like, nah, bro, it has everything to do with it. Protect the boy. That's your first priority. And Taylor's like, what, you talking about me? I mean, you treat me like I'm a kid. Well, you are a kid compared to what's going on, bruh. But it's all good. And Javier tells Gunslinger, you need to be patient. I don't have a cure for you. And his body absorbs the wings. And as he does that, and Gunslinger's like, what? Patience? That's what got Amy killed. You were there. You know that. And while he is like, no, your lack of preparation is what killed her. You weren't willing to learn what your enemies were doing to her. Those wings are the same. You need to be willing to know what they're doing to you. God wants you to think they're ready for them. That's his trap, just like they trapped your sister. So learn from this tragedy, otherwise you'll just repeat itself. Guys, says Taylor, pump the brakes. I mean, can we get a drink or something? Because your boy thirsty. We can figure this all out. But Gunslinger Spawn leaves and he's pissed. And Taylor's like, should I go after him? And Wahia's like, nah, I've seen him like this before. Let him blow up some steam. But you, boy, we haven't begun your training yet. And Taylor's like, what training are we talking about? But meanwhile, a few blocks away, Javier attempts to hide himself, though the quietest of sounds alerts him that he's no longer alone. His instincts kick in. He throws a knife and it hits Spawn in the head, and Spawn's like, impressive. But a trick like that, as you should know, only works on angels. And next time you make a mistake like that, it'll get you killed. And Javier's like, all right, well, thanks for the tip. And so now they strike up a conversation. I heard you're quitting the Scorch. Why is that? And Javier is like, that wasn't much interested in the first place to me. Then why'd you join, says Spawn. Truth is, I wanted to get close to you, because in order to get close to you, I was hoping you'd find a way to send me back into my time. And Spawn's like, believe me, if I could do that, I would have done it already. And Gunslinger Spawn's like, figured as much. I'm also bothered by the fact that how my enemies can find me so damn easily. Like Clown, says Spawn. He's one of them, but I'm more curious about Cagliostro. You know how I could track him? And Spawn's like, oh no. He calls himself Sin now, and he's become very powerful. And Gunslinger's like, not surprising. He was trying to steal my powers away. And that was an older Spawn issue. I believe Spawn 307 or Spawn 308. I don't recall exactly, but that's definitely a Spawn reference right there. And I don't know why we don't see no editorial notes on it, but that's okay. So Spawn tells him, the Clown, where'd you fight him? And Gunslinger's like, why is that of interest to you? He killed my wife, says Spawn. Why is it interest in Sin? Now, before Gunslinger Spawn can answer, an awkward silence falls upon them, and then he answers, he helped kill my sister. And Spawn's like, well, your weapons. Let's see how you're planning on stopping him. So he looks at his weapon after Gunslinger Spawn gives it to him, and Spawn's like, look, here's the thing. You need to stay alive long enough to tell me where the Clown is. You go up against Sin with this shit, he'll vaporize you real quick. You need to upgrade. And with that being said, the two Hell Spawns are enveloped by Spawn's swirling cape, only to disappear elsewhere. And they go into Spawn's armory. And Gunslinger's like, yeah, I can get jiggy with this shit. And Gunslinger Spawn flexes like, don't know what kind of damage these things can do, But I'm sure you're gonna tell me, right, Spawn? Because we both know bullets can't stop our big ass enemies. And Spawn's like, well, you're right, cowboy, but it sure as hell can slow them down if they don't have legs to walk on. And Gunslinger Spawn's like, yeah, be more than happy to shoot them off. But unfortunately for Gunslinger Spawn, his presence seems to have been located once again. But this time, instead of his enemies going after him, they make him come to them, and he goes through this void. And after that, he is pried back to Earth, and the angels there await him like, yeah, it's time for this shit to jump off right now. So they wonder why his trip through the black hole took so long, and the other angels like, he has no idea how easy he has been to become tracked. And this other angel's like, well, he was being cloaked by the other Hell Spawn. It's why it took him some time to find. And this other angel from the previous issue's like, you hear that, demon? I can find you anywhere. There's no place you can hide, boy. Though you not need to worry about that much longer. He tosses him because the other warriors know what it means when the prisoner is tossed their way. It's a chance for them to soften them up. Soften up that victim. Land some blows, give them a little softening up, exercise some authority with them real quick. Now, they inflict as much pain as possible, and they're ordered to string him up by the big alpha juggernaut angel. It's a ritual they perform hundreds of times, though this one is strangely interrupted for a moment by a blinding light. Then all returns to normal. It's time we end this permanently, says Juggernaut Angel. Watch my warriors. The only way to kill this creature is they put a hole through the place where his heart once was. And he does just that through his stick. And yeah, we gotta admire this image right there for a moment. That's it. That's the end of this issue. Obviously, I thought this was gangster. Loving Gunslinger Spawn, and I know you're loving it too. Link in description if you wish to add this comic book to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry, and also don't forget to check out RatedComics.com to add some really cool comics and or some of our Rated Comics exclusives to your comic book collection. I absolutely enjoyed this issue, and I think it's gangster. I'm looking forward to how this is going to continue. Lastly, this review is sponsored by coffee, so if you'd like to buy your boy a cup of coffee, link in description or donate to the Super Thanks. But the greatest compliment you guys could do is by liking this video and subscribing to Rated Comics YouTube channel. Thank you again for watching. Until next time.